Good evening to one and all. This is the subsequent learning module which I am recording and posting it to you. In the earlier video, we were trying to understand what is the importance of investment, uh, how we could invest, the need of investment, and so on. Now, in this video, we will have an understanding of what stock is, how does it come into existence, and so on. First thing you have to understand is when you say stock or shares, which is commonly talked about, it is nothing but your ownership, a part of ownership of that particular company. So basically, when you buy one stock, 10 stock, 1,000 stock, 1 lakh stock, what really happens is you become a owner of that particular company. What do you mean by being an owner of the company? Owner of the company means one, you have the right to the profit or loss which the company makes. So if the company makes a profit, then you get a dividend which is a part of the profit in proportion to the stock which you hold. That is what is the logic. To make the entire process simple, transparent, and so on, what really happens is stock gets traded in the stock market. So in India, you have two stock market. One is the National Stock Exchange, and the other is the Bombay Stock Exchange. Bombay Stock Exchange is the oldest stock exchange of India. Now, most of the stocks which are traded in National Stock Exchange and Bombay Stock Exchange are almost similar in nature. So everything works online, electronically, and you are in a position to either buy or sell a particular stock. Which stock can you buy? The traded stock you can buy. So the most popular ones you would have heard of is Reliance Industry, Infosys, Tata Steel. These are the kind of companies which are traded in the stock exchange. Totally, there are about 4,200 stocks in the stock exchange. So, coming back to what we are saying, first thing you have to understand is stock is nothing but a partial ownership of an individual into that particular company, and you have the position of being able to trade it publicly, which means that you can sell it to somebody. There might be another party which is interested, they buy it. So, what is the benefit of you investing into that particular stock? The benefit of investing in the stock is your right to have a share of its profit, which gets declared as a dividend. At the same time, if the company does very well, the demand from that stock increases in the market, and so if you have bought a stock at a particular level of 100 rupees, then it goes up to 200, and then you are able to benefit out of it. You can sell. At the same time, if the company is not doing well, then this 100 can go to 50, 50 can go to 0. Like, say, for example, PEL, Pyramid Enterprise Limited. I had that particular stock, I made money and I had some 20,000 worth of stock and I didn't notice it. And suddenly the company got delisted, which means that they said that they are going to call it off, which means that I lost the entire 20,000 and it's not there in the market. So you risk losing your capital in the stock market. So the first thing you have to understand is that not only you participate in the success of the company, but also in the failure of that particular company. So some company might give dividend, somebody might not give dividend. Sometimes you buy the stock for 200 rupees, then it will go to 100. Sometimes you buy it for 200, then it goes to 500. All these things will happen in the stock market. Now, how does it happen? How does the whole system work? First, what really happens is that somebody, as an entrepreneur, puts a certain amount of his own personal money into doing a business. He sees that that business is becoming a success. He makes a lot of profit in the business, and then what he decides is he wants to expand the business. So he go to somebody called seed investor. So seed investors are people who give a certain amount of money and they take a certain amount of stake or a partnership in that company. So I start a business, I invest 1 crore, then that business grows, I am able to make it 1.5 crores. Then I feel that I need to expand that business. So what I do, I place a part of my company's stock and tell people that you buy this. So if I'm going to give away 20% of the stock, I say that okay, 20% of the stock costs 1 crore. So somebody gives me 1 crore, then I add that and then I use that fund to grow my business. Then from seed investment, it goes into something called venture capitals. Venture capital is what they do, and it's a larger chunk of money which they give. Again, you give a portion of your thing. Either you give or those people who have taken a seed money, they give part with their amount of stakes into the market, and then more money comes in. Then once you complete VC, then you go into private equity. So private equity fund again gives you money, you grow it, and then you go to IPO, which is initial public offer, where you want to get a larger amount of money for you to expand the business. So the first thing you have to understand is the reason for you to get money into the business is for you to grow. The second thing is, as and when you grow, your holding or control on the company keeps diluting because you're giving away a part of your equity and so the right associated with it, which could be the voting right, which could be the right to a profit, and so on. So this is how the whole stock market evolves itself. You understand? Now, what you are trying to do is either you are trying to go into an IPO mode, which means that a company comes and says, I am trying to. You can even get into the seed funding, VCP modes also. The only difference in each of these is that each level of funding is different and the risk associated is also different. So there are companies which through which you can they will seek for money and we can make money, and also there are some companies which are privately listed. It doesn't come into public listing, it is privately listed. You can buy those stock which is there, and when it's publicly listed, then the value might go up. At the end of the day, all this depends on your uh, your disposable amount of money, your appetite to take risk, and your what do you say, your understanding and education in that particular space. Recently, what happened? One of my friend was keen to do a seed investment with a particular company. So I had another friend. Through him, I said okay. So he spoke to a company and he invested around 21 lakhs in that company. The number is very small, but by the end of 6 months to 8 months, it has become 4x or 5x, which means that at 21 has really grown. You understand? So there are places where you can do the seed funding, you can do venture funding if the corpus of your money is more. And then you can also do T kind of fundings which are there. There are institutions where you can give large amounts of money and they find and they allocate the funds which is there. But the most common thing which happens to everybody is initial public offer, IPO, where a company grows to a certain level and then they offer the shares to the public, and then the public buy that particular share, and then what happens? It gets listed in the stock market. So once it is listed in the stock market, what happens? You are able to buy and sell that particular share. But one thing you have to understand is that it is not necessary that you will be able to sell all the shares, because that is called something called liquidity. Liquidity is the volume of money which is being traded on a day-to-day basis. So if a stock has less liquidity, then the number of people participating in the buying and selling activity will be low. So always you have to buy stocks which are highly liquid. So then it becomes easy for you to either buy that stock or sell that particular stock. So we will stop here and we will continue with this later on. Okay, thank you.